Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with All Things Barbecue, and today we're joined again by our good friend Eric Gephart of Kamado Joe. Now we love these Kamado Joe grills, which is why we carry them in our store. All of the accessories and grills that you see Eric cooking on in these fantastic recipes can be found at atbbq.com. Check it out.
All right, folks, Eric Gephart here at Kamado Joe, hanging out with our friends at All Things Barbecue in Wichita, Kansas. Had a lot of requests of how to do the blue smoke slaw. So obviously it's cabbage. You know, we got this. I want to thank Matt Fox out of Laplace and their crew over there. Unbelievable restaurant in Hillsborough, North Carolina. They originally gave me this idea of a smoked slaw. And then we were in Australia and we started smoking the cabbage with meat and harnessing those drippings, which in turn gave us blue smoke. We were in the Blue Mountains of Australia and we came up with a blue smoked slaw. Originally we did it with ribs stacked all the way around the cabbage. But last time we were here at All Things Barbecue, we threw an amazing Kamado Joe block party and we did it with Creekstone Farm beef cheeks, all right? We were in Germany just last week. We took the slaw, chopped it up, and then shredded these braised and smoked beef cheeks and combined them and made this unbelievable side. So you can imagine having a really sweet and savory, meaty slaw as a side. It's gonna be the rock star at any backyard barbecue. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. So first thing we're gonna do is kind of cut out a little of this globular fat and some of the sinew. A lot of times when I get beef cheeks, there's just so much carving to be done. If you're only doing a couple of them, it's easy, but if you got a whole case to do, you're never gonna get all that fat out of there. And to be quite honest with you, some of that fat's gonna provide some flavor. So really go after that surface connective tissue, but don't worry about delving down in there too far. As we braise this thing, it's just gonna kind of break down. See, we could drive ourselves crazy with trying to take out this silver skin. And I'll nick a little bit of it out there, but not too much. Not too much. You can imagine what this muscle was used for, right? So all day long, these beautiful, beautiful black Angus at Creekstone, they got these massive jowls, massive cheeks, and they're just chewing grass all day long. So this is a very well-worked muscle. That tells me that we're gonna have to low and slow it. And that's why braising is a particular wonderful method for this cut of beef. So we got this great beef cheek. Let's season this up before we put a good sear on it and then a low and slow smoke for 3 hours. We're gonna use our Butts, our beef rub. Really, really fun seasoning. And go crazy with it. Cool. So let's go ahead and sneak this over to the grill. So we've got our grill to 400 degrees. I've got the grill rack on the lower setting, and we're just gonna get a char on the outside of this beautiful, this is one cheek, right? Just a beautiful sear. I'm hearing the sizzle right now, that's what I wanna hear. Again, the process here is get a seasoning on the beef cheek, sear it, then we're gonna take it out, put the deflector shields in, we're gonna have some smoke rolling, and we're gonna smoke the beef cheek right next to the cabbage, and they're just both gonna season each other. So the cabbage is already gonna have that meaty kind of umami flavor to it. Notice I don't have a whole ton of charcoal in there for this sear. Because I'm gonna use this for both applications of a high heat sear and then a low and slow for 3 hours, I don't want all of this charcoal in here and have too much energy in there. So I've got a minimal amount of charcoal, I've banked it to one side, I'm gonna utilize that fine heat right there, that pinpoint heat to get my sear, and then when it's time to put the deflector shields in, I'll rake that out a little bit, we'll put our chunks of wood in there and we'll start the smoke rolling. So often I see pictures of people online and go over to folks' houses and they've just got their fire boxes jammed with charcoal. Really, you're choking out your grill. You want to have maximum airflow there. So we're using a minimal amount of charcoal to get the job done. That's the ticket. So we're starting to get a nice sear on this beef cheek. While we're letting that finish up, I'm just gonna leave this open so we can get maximum heat and just get that sear. We're not worried about cooking this right now. We just want that maximum flavor profile on the outside. Now's the opportunity to do it because Next, we're gonna smoke it indirect with the cabbage for 3 hours, and then we're gonna braise it in a porter with a local brewery here from Aeroplanes. And we'll have Lance, the head brewer / owner, come over here and hang out with us and kind of describe that beer and that process a little bit. So while we're finishing up that Maillard reaction, that beautiful crust on the outside, let's go ahead and get started on the cabbage. Take your cabbage, and we've got the core straight up. We're gonna take our knife, and at a slight angle, kind of work around, and we're gonna create a cavity. So not only are we cutting out that very fibrous part that we're not gonna be able to use for the slaw anyway, but we're also creating a neat little pocket where we're gonna put a neat little kind of a flavor bomb. Real careful not to cut your hand there, and just flip it right out. While I've got that out, sometimes I like to put the knife in here and just give it a little twist, and that'll allow all the flavors that we put in here to penetrate just a little bit more. Done. Now for the mixture that goes into the cabbage. We're gonna use a Sea Dog rub that's kind of our version of a blackening seasoning. A little bit of garlic. When I say a little bit of garlic, I kind of mean a lot of bit of garlic. And then oil. And we're gonna mix that up till it looks like this blackened garlic oil mixture. Really nice, okay? Minced garlic, your favorite barbecue seasoning, a little bit of oil, and then we're gonna put it right into that cavity. And you can start to see how this is gonna work, right? We've kind of punctured things in there to help draw down that garlic and that oil and that blackening, but as this thing is smoking, that acid is going to season and penetrate the outside of the cabbage. The inner part of the cabbage is really gonna have a big, bold garlic flavor, whereas the third of the cabbage, which is not the very center and not the outside, will almost be at a raw state. So we're gonna get this darker color here, this orange color in the center, and then this green color in that center third. When you chop this up, you'll have 3 different flavors, 3 different textures, and 3 different colors. Really, really beautiful thing all in one. So this is like a little flavor time bomb. And we're gonna smoke it with that meat and really, really start activating this thing, all right? Let's go check on our beef cheek right now. Again, the part of this process is we take the cheek off, we put the smoke in, put the deflector shields in, and put this cabbage with the beef cheek, which in the end are gonna be chopped up and mixed into a gorgeous slaw. Let's get them. So let's pull those charcoal, kind of mix it around a little bit, get our wood chunks in there. Oftentimes I'll use something like a hickory or an oak. Today we've got cherry, so we're gonna use that. We're gonna wait till we have combustion, and then we're gonna put our deflector shields in. All right, so we've got combustion. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down my first deflector shield. Take this and just spin it on around. Second plate, we're in. And just for good measure, to make sure that we're nice and indirect, I'm gonna take this to the top level of the divide and conquer system. Beautiful. And we're gonna nestle that cabbage right in. Spin it around so you can see. Oftentimes we'll have this whole thing packed full of meat, maybe another cabbage in there, but since we're doing a video and we don't have a whole lot of people to feed today, we'll just have it set just like this. Now I'm gonna close this down, and we'll be looking at a temperature of about 250 degrees. All right, so it's been 3 hours. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. Look at that great color we've got on that beef cheek. It started to render out nicely. And this cabbage is unreal. Look at the smoke, how it gave it that kind of golden, amberish hue. And if we start to peel back the layers, You can just see how tender that is. Really, really, really remarkable. We talked earlier about the 3 different colors, the 3 different textures, and the 3 different flavors that are all within this. Here in just a second, we're going to take that cabbage and slice it down the middle and open it up so you can see how that garlic and that blackening really permeated throughout the veins of the cabbage. So I want to introduce Lance from Aeroplanes Brewing. He's got a beer for us that we're going to use to braise this beef cheek. I'm going to go ahead and take the cheek off. It's smoked for 3 hours. And we've got some amazing mirepoix on the bottom here. Some great carrots, onions, and celery. We even put some bay leaf in there and a little peppercorn. So I'm just going to slide this beautiful beef cheek right in there. Lance, tell us a little bit about what beer you chose to help us braise this beef cheek.
Well, at Aeroplanes Brewing, we've got a barrel aging program that we're working on right now, and this is Rowdy Joe's Summer Stout. It's kind of a unique recipe in that it's kind of warm around here, and that people to think that you're going to release a stout in the summertime seems kind of odd, but it really works well. It's got all the characteristics that you like of a stout, the roastiness, a little bit of coffee notes, a little bit of licorice, but then it's barrel aged in Breckenridge Distillery barrels, which gives it just an amazing, an additional layer of flavor. And the fact that it's a little bit lighter in alcohol makes it drinkable, but it does not detract anything from the flavor, and it works real well with cooking, as you've proven already before. But so yeah, I'm excited to be using it.
Now, is this the same beer that we used with Chef Tom when we did the block party here?
It is. Yep,
okay.
Absolutely. That was definitely a success.
So we're looking for a very remarkable flavor here from this beer, and it's just going to do so well with that beef. And again, we're going to shred that beef after it's braised, and we're going to mix it in with that smoked slaw. Be looking for some big, bold flavors. Lance, you want to go ahead and do the honors?
I would be happy to.
Oh yeah. And so we really want the level of the liquid to be at least 3/4 of the way up on the meat. So I'm going to kind of bury that meat in the mirepoix just a little bit.
You could smell the bourbon. It's
Oh
really
my
nice.
gosh. Yeah, and that's from the barrels you're saying, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to stay at 250. We're going to give it 8 hours. So here's the cabbage. I'm going to give one slice, and I want us to see. Look how beautiful that is. It's like a mosaic of deliciousness. Check out how that garlic has just penetrated even down into the lower levels of that cabbage. And we're going to chop all that garlic into this, and then we've made a very simple North Carolina style slaw dressing that we're going to toss this with. Remember, the beef cheeks are braising away. This is a labor of love. Okay, when I chop this, I want to really go thin, okay? So sometimes I'll even decrease my surface area by a little bit more. The bigger this thing is, the more friction is created between the knife having to slide down all that fiber. So if I make it smaller, I can actually make it a lot easier for me to chop it. Sometimes I'll take that outer leaf out because it's a little bit slippery and just... And that's about what we're looking for there. If you find that your cabbage is a little more firm than you think because you had a larger cabbage and you probably should have left it on the grill a little bit longer, you want to slice it even thinner. But judging by how this cabbage feels, this is right where we want to be. And it's rustic, so if you have a couple big pieces in there, that's fine. Beautiful. We want to get that garlic in there. Don't forget that. Gorgeous colors. And we're just going to start putting this in our bowl. All right, so we've got all this gorgeous slaw chopped up. Again, I've made that really nice, very simple Carolina slaw dressing. It's got a little Duke's mayonnaise, a little sugar, a little red onion, a little scallion, and a little Dijon mustard. I'm sorry, whole grain mustard. We're not going to toss this in quite yet because we've got another 6 hours left You know, we're doing 8 hours all day on these beef cheeks because we've got another 6 hours left. If I dress this slaw right now, it'd get a little soggy. So we're just gonna keep these separate until we're ready to shred those beef cheeks, and then we'll incorporate them all at the same time. All right, it's been 8 hours and we're still holding that great 250 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and bring this off and set it on the table and take a look. Oh yeah. Beautiful aromas. Let's see if we got that. I can look at that and tell that it's tender. I'm just gonna use my pinky and, yeah. So that's pretty crazy, right? All the collagen at this point is broken down into gelatin, and we've just got an unreal. Look, there's those carrots. Sometimes the vegetables on a braise are just as good as the protein. We'll save those. That'll be an early dinner. But look at how that just shreds. I'm just gonna start putting the meat right in here, and that meat just soaked up that beautiful, beautiful beer from Aeroplanes Brewing. And this is from one beef cheek. Kind of broke up a little bit as I was pulling it out. But look at that. It's crazy, okay? At this point, we'll season the beef a little bit. A little salt. Little pepper. And now we just kind of break it up a little bit. And you can go back in and find some of that globular fat and get rid of that. And that's us. Sometimes I like to take the liquid and reduce it and then strain it back over, almost like a jus. But because we're gonna add this into our slaw, we don't wanna add too much moisture content. I might even just reduce that liquid down and then save it for another meal. So now all it's left to do is take our slaw dressing, incorporate it with the slaw. Just like a salad, you don't want to overdress your slaw, okay? So a little goes a long way, and then we're going to slowly incorporate our beef cheeks, and we're going to put it into our final dish for presentation. So let's go ahead and add our slaw dressing. Gently toss that in. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, now we incorporate our beef cheeks. Look at that, still looks great. It's not sopping with the dressing. This is magic right here, all right? This is absolute magic. All right, we're going to start transferring this to our presentation. We do have scallions in the dressing, so sometimes I like to just have a little fun with presentation. All right, gentlemen, dig in. Dig in. That's some of your hard work there.
Good stuff.
So just an unbelievable, remarkable dish. You know, and again, that's a side, right?
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
you really got to up your entree if you're going to bring that as a side. Well, you know, when you have great ingredients and you do simple things perfectly, using the Kamado Joe, using amazing craft beer, it just makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, that oak and that bourbon or whiskey flavor just is really pronounced, but it's not in your face. It's not too much. Eric Gephart from Kamado Joe, coming to you from All Things Barbecue, Wichita, Kansas. Thanks so much for watching.
If you enjoyed the video, click that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see us cook, let us know in the comment section down below. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. All Things Barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.